So I think one of the most interesting things about people is that most of us believe we know ourselves. We know our story, we know our wounds, we know our triggers, and we know our patterns. We can explain why we are the way we are. But I've started to ask myself a different question. Does understanding ourselves actually mean we're changing? Because sometimes awareness can look like explanation. We know why we stay, we know why we avoid, we know why we react, and yet we still repeat the behavior. For this conversation, I'm just having an honest talk with one of my closest friends, Eman, and Dr. Sidney Arrington, who is a licensed clinical social worker, and asked the question, are we actually self-aware or are we really good at explaining ourselves? So, thank you both for coming, and let's off the dome. Do you both believe you have self-awareness or just good at explaining your behavior?
I think that they are not different. I
You
think
don't
they're
think
the same.
so? How so?
Because self-awareness is I am aware of my behavior. Not necessarily that I want to change it, but I'm aware of what it is and why I'm doing it, which is just explaining the behavior, right?
I disagree with you totally.
I think they could be different, or they could be the same.
I think that begets what is the definition of self-awareness
Yeah.
to y'all?
Let me change the question because I think we're getting stuck on the semantics. Are people actually willing to do the work or just good at explaining their behavior? Because you get stuck on the words, and I think that's statism.
Thank you. I think that, that's a really good question. I think that the latter. I think people can be really good at explaining their behavior and not even have the desire to change it. Like, this is just how I am. Oh, well, take it or leave it kind of thing.
I think when you switch it like that, it completely becomes clear. Like, most people aren't trying to change their behavior. And even if you are trying to change your behavior, it's not the easiest thing to do, right? Mm-hmm. So being able to use, and I mean, we've all done it, right? Use the admittance of this is how I am, kind of sometimes absolves you of certain consequences, certain conversations that have to be had, certain things, right? So I think most people are aware, but they don't necessarily want to or have the tools to change.
I also think a lot of times it works for the people, right? The people that aren't changing, it is working for them to a certain extent, right? Like, okay, maybe I have these issues and my girlfriend broke up with me for these issues, but I could go get another girlfriend that's gonna stand for it. So I'm not being forced to change or adjust my behavior because this is working for me.
But explain working to me, because if I'm aware that this behavior is bad, or I'm aware that this behavior is not helping me, how does the two coexist? How does someone coexist in the reality where it's like, okay, I know this is not really working for me, and also I'm just gonna continue to avoid it? Like, that intersectionality is very confusing to me.
I think that they are not aware that it's not working for them. Because if for me, let's say I have these issues, I just want a girlfriend, maybe this girlfriend not cool with it, but I can get another one that's gonna be cool with it. Or maybe I have friends that coddle me and let me act like this. I don't have any real consequences. Why would I change my behavior? This is working for me. Maybe my friends get mad at me, but they back. Maybe my girlfriend break up with me, but she back. Why do I need to change this?
Okay, do you think social media has made it cool to be, or this therapy jargon be cool without people actually doing the work?
Yes, 100%.
And why do you feel that way?
Cause why are you talking to me like that? Okay. Okay, so I feel that way because like therapy's like, it feels like a trend. Like, oh, I'm not dating nobody unless they in therapy. Like, da-da-da. But like, are you just going to therapy or are you actually applying the things that you learning in therapy? Because again, it's hard work, it's uncomfortable, you the problem sometimes. So with all that, are you really just going to therapy and picking up the words so that you can use them and sound like you're doing the work? Or are you actually implementing the tools and doing the work?
But you know what's crazy? Excuse me. I didn't even realize people go to therapy and lie until my therapist one day said, Jeremy, you're very open. I said, isn't everybody open in therapy? He was like, no. People come in here and lie. I'm like, how you know? He was like, I just be knowing people be lying, which is crazy to me.
I literally have to tell my clients, hey, it's just me and you here. Like I can tell when they like being reserved. I'll be like, hey, it's just me and you, please. Yeah. And then they like, all right, okay, you got me. But a lot of times they'll step around.
There's no tendency to. I mean, let me speak for myself. I started therapy maybe like a year or 2 years ago for the first time.
Therapy, I love
Thank you, I
that.
appreciate that. Right? So it's very awkward to just tell all your deepest, darkest secrets
It
to
has
a
never been
stranger.
awkward for me, I'm not gonna lie.
But that's because you.
But also, I think like you have to take in your own personality. Eman genuinely is just a more reserved person. You not.
But I'm not even talking about in general.
No, but you get what I'm saying?
I do,
Like,
but I'm
yeah.
not even talking about in general. I'm talking about mostly at first, right? Like, most people aren't just gonna bare their soul to somebody that they don't really know.
I just feel like because they have an NDA, I just always assume that either you're gonna keep a secret or be rich. I just feel like there was no
It's
in
not
between.
about that though. It's not, the fear isn't even always about something
It's the
coming out.
relationship. You
Not
a
even just
stranger.
that. It's just, these are secrets that I have kept to myself for years.
So it's you
know
not
what
being
I'm
honest
saying?
with yourself. Is that
No,
what it is?
it's
Okay.
just sometimes it's hard to speak certain things. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
when you say something out loud, it's real, right? And now I'm saying it to another person that I barely know.
I just feel safe because I didn't know this person and she didn't know me from nowhere. So I was like, even if you tell somebody who you, I mean, I don't know. I just felt like so
But
it's just
look,
easy
that
for me
lets
to.
you know it's two ways to think about it though.
Yeah.
Either you're a stranger, you're never, it's never gonna
Truly
come
never
back.
gonna see you ever in
or
my life
you're a
again.
stranger, I'm not gonna tell you everything about myself.
Yeah.
Right?
When you
So-
go to the doctor and you get tested, do you tell them what you've been doing? Like when they asking you, do you tell them? Because you want them to help you, right?
Yes.
Like if you don't tell me,
Absolutely.
what?
Oh, really?
What?
Everything.
I be pulling out my phone. Actually,
Like seriously, I
One,
be
two, three.
detailed. Yes. I did it
in
unprotected.
detail. As a matter of fact, let me
You
show you
just
this picture.
Take the test. I just,
No, because I've been wanting my doctor to tell me like these things are healthy.
oh.
So I guess for me, it's like I've always, and I guess kind of going back to the conversation, in theory, it's like, why would I lie? I always, okay, I guess I'm getting your point. My mom always kind of told me like, if you lie, you're deceiving yourself. So it's like, I always felt like if I'm going to therapy, I'm going to the doctor, why would I not tell them the truth if they're supposed to help me? I'm just like literally hurting myself because without all the information, you are not gonna be able to help me. So it's like, now I will agree, I wasn't ready to go to therapy at some point, but once I was ready to go, I was like, oh yeah, let it. I was like in that chair, like, yeah. And actually I did, I was just rooting it all,
I
but
agree. I definitely think you're doing yourself a disservice as far as your healing if you're not being honest with your therapist. Because if you leave out even 2 or 3 details, the response that I give you is gonna be different. Because hold on, this may truly change everything that you've said, now that you've told me this part.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but now the more we talk about it, the more I realize your point was correct though, because you're a lot more of a naturally open person, loose, and
I don't know what y'all are saying. What does that mean?
I mean you just
Like
you,
you're
bro.
just like when I say open, I'm not saying you tell everybody your business. Yes, you tell it to your therapist, right? But like even when you meet new people, you're gonna show them a part of yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still learning Eman to this day. You get what I'm saying? And I've known you, 4 years? Longer, actually. And I feel like every time I meet him, I be like, damn, Eman, you go to therapy? He literally said, I've been in therapy 2 years. What?
And-
I just talked to you.
In all
Like,
fairness,
what?
he told me that a while ago he was going to therapy, but I didn't realize, you still go until this weekend. He was like, I have therapy. I was like, oh. Yeah, but okay, so I get it. You're just more naturally.
You remember how you said earlier, like, Eman was a vault? But it's not just with secrets and being a friend. Like, I think that it's truly just his character. Like, I'm gonna just keep it close to my chest.
Where does that come from? Like, does it, true, I'm just curious.
The vaultness of it all.
Yeah, like, where does that come from to just, not that anything's wrong with it, I'm just curious to know, like, is that just.
To be honest, I don't really know. That's
Yeah.
something that I would have to think about, cause I don't know. I think that I've found, so maybe it is like a past thing, cause times that I have been like really open
You got a negative response and it taught you.
Or maybe not even a negative response, but then it'll circle back like, I shouldn't have did that. Shouldn't have done that, shouldn't have said that, shouldn't have went there, right? So
So now
I
you're like, I
think
ain't gonna say
maybe
nothing.
over time.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm like secretive.
No, I don't think you're secretive. But I
But-
think you're. I think you just lean more on the side of just not sharing, and it's not to a fault. I think you share with the right people eventually. Like you know, we talk. It's just for sure.
Yeah,
It's not
because I feel like
yeah.
that's just how I am with my. Cause remember when we were with your friend that one time in Dallas, and granted we had just met this.
friend?
I'm not saying that.
No free promo.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, was it Dallas? No, this
No
is
free
last.
promo.
This
What
is
are we
when
talking about?
This is when we was in Houston and we was all
okay.
kicking it with you.
Okay.
And we were chilling at the crib and we were talking about how one of our other friends was like an open book, like you knew his personality and just how she could tell the type of person he was. And she was saying to me like, oh, I thought you were just like one of those like mysterious guys, like you were trying to be, and the key words is trying to be. And for me, I just feel like I don't, but people say that though, that's the thing. Like you've told me that people say that like, oh, Eman is, I didn't know Eman was so,
Yes.
right? But I just feel like when I meet people, my first inclination is not to just be like, here's me, this is who I am, like I'm about to tell you everything. But there are people like that, right? And maybe not tell you everything, but show you everything. Like I'm gonna show you my full personality. Like that's just not, I like to observe. Like I like to, you know, I like to.
Yeah. I think, I don't believe I'm an open book, but I think vulnerability is, I never understood why people were afraid of being vulnerable. Well, hold on. For some things, I do get it. But I think where it trips me up is like, things that people think that I be open about, I'm like, this is not even me being vulnerable. Like, it's just, what can you use against this to me? And I think,
But openness and vulnerability aren't the same thing though.
okay, explain how.
Like openness is just freeness. Vulnerability is the ability or the decision to divulge into very secret or close to my chest material. You get what I'm saying? Like openness is just,
I think it's tomato.
I don't think so.
I agree with you, Eman, that openness is not the same. But for you specifically, I don't even feel like you always like super open. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, you keep certain things to your chest, and I can actually take a page out of your book as it relates to that, because I feel like we're two opposite sides of the spectrum. Like, I'm gonna tell everybody everything about me. I'm gonna tell everybody everything about me, right? And you like, let me see if you can even know anything. And I feel like there's space for like both in the middle, but I don't always know that you show like your full personality. Like even how funny you are. I don't feel like I knew that when I first met you.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, maybe you was just watching to see if we deserve to see the funny parts
Deserve
of you.
is crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Because no, I genuinely think that you like see people and you decide like how much of myself should I share with you.
But I do
You
that.
get what I'm saying? But I think that your threshold for what you hold close to your chest is different. It feel like Eman hold everything. Call me if I'm wrong, right? But it feel like you hold a lot to your chest. You have like certain things that everybody get, and it's big. The amount of things that everybody gets is big, I think. And then as you get to know you, you peel back the layers and get more. But Eman get this much when you first meet him.
But is that
So-
wrong though? I don't think nothing's wrong with
No,
that.
I don't think there's anything
Oh,
wrong
this
either.
is like the
Yeah.
difference in people.
Exactly.
Okay. Vulnerability then, how would y'all define vulnerability? Because I guess I also look at it as people don't have real friendships, people are not willing to be vulnerable, right? Like I think like a lot of people stay stuck in surface level relationships, which on the surface seems safer, but it doesn't really need to like fulfill the relationships, which can like double down into other areas. And I think that particularly Black men struggle with that a lot.
Yeah, I definitely think so, because when you don't exhibit a certain level of vulnerability, then people don't even know the real you, for real, right? Like, so.
But why is it scary for people to be vulnerable?
Because it can always be used against you, is what I think. Like, if I shared this with you, you really can do something with it, right? You said something earlier, you were like, what you gonna do with it? But like, people really can do some crazy stuff with it. I might tell somebody, I might use it against you in an argument, I might look at you differently. And so it takes a lot, I think. And then also with like the toxic masculinity, and little Black boys are growing up being told, you can't cry, don't talk about heartbreak, man up. Every time you show this much emotion, you gotta man up. And then I'm supposed to be an adult and just be vulnerable with my friends. I'm supposed to cry to my brother. And my whole 25, 35 years of life, I've been told, don't cry, man up. What you doing all that crying for?
But conversely, are you supposed to be vulnerable with everybody? With a lot of people? Because I feel like for myself, right? For what you just said, true, but I have a select group of individuals that I am extremely vulnerable.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that, because like going back to the thing, I was like, when I was talking about how your friend said these things, right? I'm like, lady, I don't know you. I just met you yesterday. Why would I, you know what I mean? Like, why would I be this open book and vulnerable?
That
So
was
it's
weird,
like,
though. I ain't
a little bit.
yeah.
I think that there's also a good thing to have like a group of people that you can be vulnerable with, which I do have. But yeah, some people are vulnerable with everybody.
So I agree with y'all. I think, well, I agree with you. Yeah. I think so. I'll give y'all an example, right? Like coming to law school, for example, everybody at law school want to be the top of the class, or everybody wants to show that they're going through it, like they're strong and going through law school and just really doing the best. It would not occur to me when people said, "Oh, how are you doing?" I'm fighting for my life. Like I would say it regularly. And that would maybe, like, you know, to people that's like vulnerable, and I'm like, no, that is just the state of, like, I don't, you know what I'm saying?
That's openness,
Right.
but that's not vulnerability.
But people view it as being vulnerable by your sharing.
That's my point. You don't view it as vulnerability, right?
No,
But do
because
you
that
view
is,
it as openness? To be honest,
I view it as being honest.
which is open.
Okay, I'll give you that.
That's what I'm saying, or they're not the same thing.
But I guess that's my point. I think we've gotten so far, I think a lot of people have gotten so far into this realm of like, you cannot be vulnerable, that it's like, I have to there is quite literally nothing that anybody will be able to use. What you gonna say, that I'm not smart? Like, what could you use with that against me that would affect me in any grandiose way? And I think furthermore, this kind of gets back to the point of the conversation. If I'm using the same example, I'm in law school, okay, how are you doing? Because I am very much so in tune with myself and self-aware, I can say I'm fighting for my life, but it doesn't mean that like I'm not doing it. It just means that no, I'm just, this is an adjustment. This is hard. It's, whatever. But I also realized maybe a lot of people didn't also realize that they were struggling or fighting for their life, or they were trying to almost tell themselves like, oh, I'm good. Law school's hard, but it's like, even if like the schoolwork's not hard for you, like you having to make an adjustment. You're having to like commit to it. You're having to come to school every day. Like you're physically tired. Like regardless of how smart you are, this is a hard thing to do, period.
I think that,
Oh, go ahead. Sure.
I think there's a certain level of vulnerability associated with even acknowledging that it's hard, right? Especially in a space like law school where everybody wants to feel like they got it, right? So there is some vulnerability that even says, I'm fighting for my life. Like that is like, and so that makes sense to me why some people will view it as being vulnerable, because it does take, just a certain level of letting people in to even know, because you could have done the regular, how you doing, good? How many times have people asked you, how you doing, good? I done been fighting back tears, how you doing, fine, you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think also though, like human nature is to cover up our weaknesses, right?
Yeah.
And especially not to expose our weaknesses. And law school is very competitive, right? So.
Yes, it is competitive for people. I didn't view it that way.
But people do.
Yeah.
Right? So exposing your weaknesses to somebody that you are in competition with, even though you're really not, right? But there's that survivalist mindset at that point. And then going to therapy, right? Exposing my weaknesses, talking to people, exposing my weaknesses, right? Some people view that as like a weak thing, right? It's tough for them to put their weaknesses out there.
Yeah.
Cause like you said, most times when people say, how you doing? I'm good. I'm all right, I'm cool, right? How often do you actually break it down? Like
Only with people that I feel like I could be vulnerable with, right?
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
So I guess when I think of vulnerability, I think of like information like, oh, I'm dating this person that maybe nobody knows, or maybe I'm going through like a family secret that nobody, to me, those are things that you reserve openness for close relationships. I'm going through financial troubles, right? But the basic things of like just normal everyday life, I don't know if I ever viewed it as a weakness, but to me today at 32, it's like, I sometimes force myself to cry just to release emotions. But if you came and saw me crying and you looked at emotions as a weakness, you'd be like, oh, he's down bad, it's like, no, there's an emotion that needs to come out. It's coming out, and then I'm going to be like, okay, cool, let's
But
get
I
to
think
it.
that's exactly it. Like, so many people do view having emotions as being weak or being sad or saying, acknowledging I'm fighting for my life as a weakness. And I think that's where the vulnerability comes in.
Okay, and so that's why then people are hard at being self-aware because they're not willing to face the. Because I feel like vulnerability is almost your gateway to freedom.
But I think
You
also,
know, like it shackles you
yeah.
down if you like. You gotta. Who are you? Truly, and this is no offense, but like I just be looking at people like, okay, who
Yeah.
are you?
I think it's also though,
You know?
it's easier to be surface level. Like bearing your soul is actually also exhausting. Like telling people the truth about what you're going through sometimes is also exhausting. You know what I mean?
It has been very freeing for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Sometimes it's exhausting to talk about everything that you're going through. At the end of it all, you do feel free, but like just getting through it, especially when you already exhausted, like if I'm already going through it, I might not want to talk about the fact that I'm going through it.
Yeah, I get
right?
that.
You know?
And it's easier to say, good.
It's just
fine.
easier to say that, like, I'm straight, I'm
Yeah.
cool, right? So, I don't know.
When you don't name things, you can't deal with it. When you can't deal with it, you can't heal from it, right? And so I've always looked at whatever I'm not willing to name, whatever I'm not willing to be honest and vulnerable about is honestly controlling me. Because you're giving power to the thing as opposed to like taking power of it and saying like, hey, I'm going through this because this is a normal human reality, and this does not take away from the fact that yes, I'm gonna get through it and I'm gonna be tough through it. But at least with you, like with friends that I've trusted, because I get it, you can't be vulnerable with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the delineation between like vulnerability and openness is, I like what you said there because.
I got a question.
Yes.
Okay, so on the topic of vulnerability, I've never said this word so many times in one setting. On that topic, is true vulnerability the ability to speak it to another person, or can one be vulnerable with oneself and still be as vulnerable? Like, you get what I'm saying?
Vulnerable with oneself.
Like, can I be vulnerable with myself? Because half the people don't even be honest with themselves and vulnerable with themselves about like, yeah, I am going through this. Like, I am this person. Like, can that be the same level of vulnerability, or do you have to speak it for it to be vulnerable?
I'm gonna say that you have to speak it because yes, you can be honest with yourself, but the vulnerability literally comes with letting someone in, putting my guard down. I can't put my guard down with myself. I be honest with
Yes, you
myself.
can. You can put your guard down with yourself.
You be having your guard up with yourself?
Think about
to
it.
the lady
Think
about
about
that.
it.
Write
No,
that
no,
down.
no. But think about it though. Like having your guard up is literally being afraid to speak something, to admit something, to even think about something, right? And we all been there with ourselves, like about hard truths about ourselves, right? Where you just literally don't think about it because it's like, yeah, I'm not thinking about that. That's a lot, right? Until you have to. You're putting a wall down when you have to with yourself. I don't believe that you can't. Like, I truly believe that you can, if that's the definition, like there's a wall up with yourself when you're not willing to admit certain things to yourself, about yourself, for a fact. I think.
I think that in order to heal for real, that you have to be vulnerable with someone else, not just yourself. Like, I think if you could just work it through with yourself, then people would just do that.
But don't we
You see
do
what I'm
that
saying?
certain times?
Do
though?
we do that?
Yes. There are certain things that y'all have worked through with yourself. Y'all need somebody for every time you need to work
Every
through something.
time is
But that's my
relax.
point,
Because
though.
we don't say it every
But that's
time.
my point,
but
though.
what? Only the things that it's necessary for. Because again, something that happened that I had to put a wall up with myself and I couldn't think about it is going to be a big thing. So yeah, that would be something that I would need to verbalize. And whether with a therapist, with a friend, depending on what it is and what your goals are, like, yeah, you have to. Part of being vulnerable is sharing with someone, like being
feel
vulnerable with yourself. I feel like you're trying to gaslight me a little bit, actually. I don't know.
But I do get what he's saying, though. I get what he's saying. I do get what he's saying. But do you have to tell someone everything? I do think
No,
there are
not
people,
everything.
but there are people that I do share close to everything with. Very few. That's a really good question. I don't know the answer to that. I'm gonna be honest,
I
because
don't think being vulnerable with yourself is sufficient.
What's the definition of vulnerability?
Okay,
I don't
let's
know,
look at
somebody
it.
run it, yeah.
I think we
Let's
should
see what the definition of vulnerability means. That is a word that I do struggle to spell. Yes, the future lawyer does not know how to spell vulnerability. Yes, yes. I think it's VUL. Okay, I got it. Okay. Ooh. So vulnerability means being open to harm, attack, damage, or emotional hurt because of weakness or lack of protection. So,
Say it one more
So
time.
you cannot hurt yourself.
Say it one more time. Who can't hurt themselves? People hurt themselves.
How you go? Eman,
You can hurt yourself by
Eman.
decisions you make. You can hurt yourself by.
you cannot take information that you gave yourself and then use it to hurt yourself. Please be for real. Please, please,
but
please,
no,
please.
I think there's truth to what he's saying though.
You think you can take information about yourself and then use it to hurt yourself?
People
Yes.
literally, people
To
literally,
hurt
people,
yourself?
literally,
Yes.
people commit suicide all the time.
But to act as if you did not do it?
No, I think
You see what I'm saying?
what he's saying.
Because he's saying I had a guard up with myself. I let it down
Hold
to
on,
acknowledge what I
hold on.
did.
I think so. Hear it outside of yourself. If I have not admitted something to myself, like I'm living in a defensive state, or if I'm not being honest about how something is affecting me, I'm avoiding it. So I have not then been vulnerable based on the definition, which means being open to harm, attack, damage, or emotional hurt. So admitting something to myself means that it would expose me to emotional hurt by heart. So I think you cannot lack vulnerability with yourself.
Because think about people that don't have the ability to show themselves any type of grace, things like that, right? Open to attack. People attack themselves all the time, like mentally. We say things about ourselves. Verbally, people abuse. I hear people say crazy things about themselves all the time. Like, I'm so this, I'm so that, right? Based off of things that they've done that they regret, right? So you can definitely attack yourself in many different ways. And I think that's why I say, like, is it just a thing of admittance, like, to others? Or can it be, you know?
I think the level of, now I'm tired of saying the word vulnerability, but like,
All right.
I think the level of vulnerability you're willing to go is to the extent to which you will be freed from such thing. I think there's different levels. So I think being vulnerable with yourself is the first step. But I think, and so you could be free to some degree from like the shackles, or at least acknowledging, ooh, maybe that's the question. Are we actually self-aware that's good at explaining our behavior? Maybe acknowledging it to yourself, you're good at explaining your behavior, but maybe there's still a lack of self-awareness if you have not been further willing to perpetuate that vulnerability beyond yourself, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, last question that I'll ask is, what does real self-awareness actually require?
Honesty.
Yeah.
Like, just being, like y'all said, just being honest with yourself. So that's step one, like really acknowledging what's going on.
I think it's sitting with your emotions. I think it's really sitting with yourself. I think you can't really have a deep level of self-awareness with moving and staying busy and avoiding. And I think it's really solitude and silence, and stillness.
To that point, I think true self-awareness takes like seeing the thing for yourself, whatever the thing is. Like, oh, I just saw a situation that played out that I caused due to this thing that people might say. Like, I see it now, like I understand it. And it could be a good thing. Like, self-awareness could be like, oh, I really am the greatest basketball player ever because I just saw myself perform in this way, right? But until you see the thing for yourself, you can't be self-aware, you know?
Yeah. And thank you both for coming. I think that was a good conversation. Follow me on Jeremy Kofi for more on Instagram, and see you next time, everybody.